Moving or storing your contents does not have to be complicated and inconvenient. Do-it-yourself storage and moving with Unit's moving and portable storage can save you time, money, and frustration when compared to traditional full-service moving truck rental and fixed storage. There's no rushing and no hassle. Our process is designed to accommodate a nimble moving process that provides flexible scheduling. Stay away from renting trucks that charge by the hour. With Units, you load your weather-resistant, all-steel containers at your own pace, well in advance of your moving date. Our containers are level to the ground and do not require a ramp to load or unload. Units' barn-style container doors can be easily propped to stay open while loading or unloading your container. With Units, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month is the same price. When you're ready, give your local Units representative a call and we will pick up your container, bring it back to our secure climate-controlled storage centers, or move it to another location of your choice. Need temporary storage before you move? We can take care of that at one of our many storage centers, saving you trips back and forth to a self-storage facility. Each Unit service center is locally owned and operated by franchisees that know your area. There are no time constraints on the container. Feel free to pack and load at your own convenience or hire a professional for additional help. Control your own schedule. Receive personalized support. Units will simplify your moving experience.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Thursday afternoon. We are here at Talladega Super Speedway, Unit Storage 200, Wheels America Cup Series. Everybody at home, Wheels America Racing Network, we appreciate you tuning in again. We've got 3 stages, 80 laps. Stage 1 ends at 20. Stage 2 ends at 40. And your finish, checkered, will be at 80. I will tell you what, we've had road courses, we've had some short track action, and we've also been at Daytona. But tonight we are here at Talladega, where all the action happens and playoff points matter. This is going to be quite the show. Myself, Jacob Emery's in the booth, alongside Brandon Bowie. Brandon, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good. I'm more interested to see how crazy this race is going to get because, folks, this is the cutoff race. And we get to see who's going to make it into the playoffs and who is not. There's going to be some tempers flaring, and we're definitely going to see some cars upside down. So I'm for it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We may see some cars upside down as you're looking right now, cars getting into each other quick. But as you said, playoffs matter. This is the last race until playoffs start. So everyone's trying to get those points to get into the playoff market. And we've got a lot of drivers on the bubble. So interesting track tonight because anything can happen. Anyone can win. And that's what you love to see on a super speedway like this. It makes it very entertaining, and you see all the names on that ticker, and any of those names can be a number one driver and a winner. So Brandon, I'm excited as well. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been working hard all season, as far as the regular season, to try and position themselves in the playoffs. And now it's gonna come down to this one race. We do have a couple guys that's already locked in for sure. Brandon Sticks, Barroso, Mark Whitley, Dunkelberger, Jua, Lights. Those guys are locked in on wins. Then you got Feather Place, Millie, Fleming, Smith, and Diamond, who are locked in pretty much on points. But outside of that, you got Shelton 27 back, Larson 21 back, Lamphere 17 back, Marshall 17, Meeks 14. I mean, they've got to be a little bit on the cautious side on coming into this race, trying to gain as many stage points as they can. And then you also have Wright, Sorrell, Graham, and Biddy. Man, only thing they can do, they got to go out there and win. I mean, they can possibly point their way in, but they're looking at the big picture right now.
Yes, big picture indeed. Practice is over. We're going to be jumping into qualifying now as we're talking about all these drivers on the bubble and all the drivers that have already locked themselves in position for the playoffs. You got guys out here that are going to be qualifying. They may be qualifying low in this field, but I will tell you, it only takes 2 to 3 laps to get up front in that top 10, the top 10, 15 spot. So this is also the interesting, thing about Talladega. Do you want to stay out front? Do you want to stay in the back? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the middle of the pack, outside, inside? There's so much dynamics to this type of super speedway that it really brings so much action, especially everybody at home watching, and how this unfolds. So Brandon, can you kind of talk, where would you like to be on this position?
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I want the pole. I want to be sitting on the pole. I want to control this race from the drop of the green flag. I don't want to be fooling around with guys that want to hesitate and try to avoid the wrecks and stuff like that. No, put me in the front row and let me stay up front. Any point during the race, if I start to fall back, I'm gonna be super aggressive to try to get back to the front.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I'd love to be on the pole. Qualifying on this track to get the pole is not easy. You have to be steady. You have to make that right line. Your out lap has to be good. Your final lap has to be perfect to be getting on that pole in this type of racing atmosphere. Because you know what? A couple tenths of second could put you back in 10th, could put you back in 15th. And if you make one mistake, you're starting from the back of the pack, and it's not always easy trying to get through it and staying safe. There's no quick fixes today. All it is, hey, excuse me, I do apologize. There is one quick fix here at Talladega, so that may be an advantage to some of these guys. But, man, I'll tell you what, you don't want to get into damage quick because if you do, you're not looking too good. This is a long race. You want to keep it clean as much as you can.
Yeah, and these guys gotta be mindful of that as well. I mean, if you're running, in the mid pack, you gotta make a choice. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, you need to go to the front. No matter what, you need to go up there, stay up there, and try to avoid all the rest. Yes, you can get wrecked out in the lead. You can get wrecked out in last as well. So your best bet is just to go out there and race. Don't worry about what some of the other guys' plans are. Of course, if you're on a team, then yeah, you probably want to stick together as a team, for certain situations. But if you can, man, just go out there and like I said, just try to lead as many laps as you can and hope the race falls into your lap. That's probably the best thing that you can wish for. But like I said, it still depends on where you are in the points, where you are in chasing to make it into the playoffs. Whether if you're locked in, you have nothing to lose. You're going for wins. If you are not locked in and you're gonna possibly, gotta kind of take it easy for the first couple stages, okay, fine, you can do that. But like I said before, if you're right, Sorrell, Graham, and Biddy, what do you have to lose? Go for it. Go for the win. Try to stink up the race and make it into the playoffs. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for tonight.
Yeah, and you got to do it now. You really do, as times are coming in right now quick. Everybody's out on the track early. Mark Whitley up front in that number 7, 53.162. Edward Marshall in that 16, he's at a 53.17. Michael Lanphier in the 13, he's third. Chris Rabel in fourth. Nick Silver in 5. That tops your top 5, and I told you these times would be very close as we're seeing it unfold right now. Man, there's not much movement in those tenths of seconds. As you're seeing, maybe Charlie at the bottom there, he just jumped back up in his second lap. Looks like he improved a little bit. We do have, guys at home, Wheels America Racing. We do have the face cams, the race cams tonight. Isaac Balsamo and Michael Lanphier, Kenny Reel, they all will have those face cams. So check that out as we're looking at Isaac right now. He's doing some qualifying, just finished. Really cool aspect to this stream. There's Michael Lanphier getting ready for the race. Very cool thing we do here at the Wheels America Racing Network for everybody at home watching. Very fun. Kenny Reel as well. Brandon, man, I will tell you what, this will be action-packed, and I cannot wait for this race to start. It seems like everybody is eager to get on that track because qualifying, everybody's got those times.
Yeah, times are really close, and usually at super speedways they're pretty close. I'm actually surprised, that there is a little bit of separation between second and third with, Edward Marshall running a 53.175, and then you have Michael Lanphier running a 53.219. So there's a little bit of a little discrepancy in that, but for the most part, if you look from Michael Lanphier, which is currently right now third in qualifying, look all the way, to 26, Jay Graham. They're really only about 2 tenths difference. So that part right there, they are really, really close. These guys are gonna be bumping and banging and spinning each other out and getting into the wall. This is gonna be a wild race. I just have that feeling. I have a feeling we're gonna see some cars on their lids. You're gonna might even see some blowovers on the front stretch of cars.
Yeah.
Being lifted from the rear end and flipping over from the front. So, hey, but for us, it's entertainment. I'm all for it. So I'm gonna sit back, relax, and watch these guys try to put on a great show tonight.
Same here. And as you said, qualifying times are very close. You don't really see too many drivers out front. You see a 1 and 2 guy with a really good time, but right now they are so dialed. They are so close. Edward and Mark Whitley. Mark Whitley, a guy that's in the trucks that just kills. He's real close to Edward Marshall. He's right behind him. Michael Lanphier too in third. You're right. We're gonna see some bumping and grinding tonight. They're gonna be drafting. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about. Inside lane or outside lane? Because a lot of times Talladega, that outside lane has some movement, but we may, and I know we will. We'll probably see some 3 wide.
So with the way how Talladega is, it's really not a difference as far as high or low off the start of the race. Of course, as the run goes on, the tires start to burn off, the fuel burns off as well. It does seem like the middle to high would be a little bit more preferred because you're not being pinched on the bottom. Even though the bottom would be the fastest way around the track, the momentum that you get if you have enough cars in that high line is better than what you would get if you're on the bottom, because number one, you're being pinched, you're turning more into the radius of the corner, which you're scrubbing more speed from the car. So middle to high will probably be preferred, like I said, if you have enough cars in the high line. If not, there's nothing wrong with running the bottom, but we'll have to see how the lanes kind of run. If you have 4 or 5 people running up high, but you got like 10, 15 cars on the bottom. That bottom lane is gonna be gonna be dominant no matter what.
Yeah, and it's fun to see all these drivers out here putting in the lap times for qualifying. Some guys may kind of sandbag it and hang back a little bit so they don't get in the middle of the pack or the front. But man, 53.3 all the way down to 53.410. Our lowest is Charles right now at a 53.420. From top to bottom, across the board, they are so close. No one's kind of given any movement. They want to be up front. They want to get that pole. Right now, Mark Whitley in that number 7 is on the pole. No one has knocked him off yet. Edward Marshall in that second. Michael Lanphier in 13. He's in third. But like I said, man, everyone's out here competing. They want to win tonight, and it's true. I know it's happening because they want to get in those. They want to get in the playoff. They need playoff points now. They can't wait till next week because that's when it begins. So I cannot wait. We're having so much fun. We're almost done here with qualifying, and we're going to get into the racing here shortly. I want to thank everyone here at Wheels America Racing Network on YouTube watching. This is going to be a big race. Thank you, like always. And a couple sponsors, Units Moving Portable Storage, Wheels America, Admin Box, Flim Dogs, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, and always Harpoon Designs. A lot of these drivers have a lot of his paint schemes on their cars. And I cannot wait, Brandon. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like I've said several times, and it's amazing. I love Talladega Super Speedway, man. How much action can happen on this track?
Tons and tons of action on these super speedways, whether it's Daytona, Talladega, or their new reconfigured Atlanta. It's just pure action from the start of the green flag to the end. So you know these guys have got a lot to. Honestly, a lot to worry about, especially the guys that's going to be starting toward the back. You know, Frankie, you know, it's probably somebody I didn't expect to be running that far, you know, to even be that far back. He's going to start 32nd. He is going to is two things. Either he's going to have to be aggressive and he's going to have to latch onto a car and work his way to the front because he can't afford to lose that draft. If he loses that draft, unless the caution, well, of course you have the stage cautions, but you know, if the caution doesn't come out before they lap him, it's going to be a long day if he goes a lap down.
Yeah, you don't want to go lap down too early, and he may be the lucky dog and get around, but we shall see as they are gridding up right now. We are going to be racing here shortly. I think we're going to go to the grid here in just a moment. Yeah. All right, here is the grid. Mark Whitley in that number 7 got the pole. Congratulations to him. He's in that P1 spot. Edward Marshall in the 16. He's in P2. All right, Michael Lanphier in that 13. He's in P3 alongside Chris Rabel in the 66. He's 4. Nick Silver in the number 9. He's going to be starting 5th alongside Kenny Reel. Kenny Reel up there in number 11. He's going to be starting 6th position. John Wright in the 04. He's going to be starting 7th. Thomas Minks in the 55. He's going to be 8. And then we got Nick Lights in the number 4 in the 9th position, alongside following up the top 10, Brandon Fetterplace in that 34 spot.
Yeah, and then we have the number 48 of Drew Jua starting P11. Number 27 of Justin Sorrell starting P12. Number 51 of Josh Larson starting P13. And beside him, you have the Matt Smith, driver of the number 54, starting P14. You have Matt Fleming starting P15 beside Mike C. That's going to be your nickname because I always butcher your name. I don't want to butcher it tonight. It's going to be starting P16. Landry Monty is going to be starting P17. Charlie Birch, pretty decent qualifying for him. It's going to be P18. Robert Song, P19. And rounding out your top 20 tonight is going to be the number 2 of Brandon Shelton.
Brandon Shelton in that 20th position. They are gridded up and taken off. Caution car is going to take us around the lap a couple times, and we will be green here at Talladega. But, man, real quick, Brandon, you know what? We're going to go back to these race cams. I think it's one of the coolest additions we've had this season. Kenny Reel right there. He's live We didn't get him last week, but this week we've got him, and he's live right there on the stream inside looking at his cockpit. And then I think we're going to go to Michael Lanphier right there. He's all decked out in that red American flag in the background. Awesome to see. He qualified pretty good. See if he can get a win tonight. Love to see it. And we got Isaac Salmo. He's got a race cam tonight. He was there last week as well. He's looking for a good finish here at Talladega. See if he can do it. All right, Brandon, man, pace car's out. I can already feel the tension right now because I know these drivers are a little nervous. They don't want to get caught up in a wreck too early. They do have one fast repair, so that makes a world of difference. If you get into trouble early, you do have that one fast repair to fix your car to get out there, and everything's going to be clear. So that's going to be one aspect of this race that doesn't happen on every race, but tonight it will.
Yeah, the fast repair will play, great dividends to everybody, really. If they get caught up in somebody else's mess, go ahead and get that fast repair. But you got to pick and choose when to use it, when not to use it. If you use it too soon, it can get caught up in something else, and then you're done for the day. So, but the pace car is off, man.
The pace car is off, and we are going to go green here at Talladega here shortly. Mark Whitley and Edward Marshall out front in that 16. Man, crowd's going crazy, and so am I. I love to see this type of racing, and green flag it is. Mark Whitley going to take it away. Edward Marshall right behind Michael Lanphier, Chris Rabel, and Nick Silva at number 9. Top 5 as they're going to start out side by side going into turn 1. See who's going to make a move early. Are they going to get out 3 wide? We shall see. But right now, Mark Whitley, bump 66, Chris Rabel on the outside taking a quick lead. That may be the faster lane, Brandon, right now, but that may change early.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a little early to be aggressive. I saw between the 55 and the 34, getting a little squirrely on the high side. Lap 1, turn 1, or backstretch, I should say. Play nice and let's be there at the end. But again, the goal is still the same. Go out there, stay up front as long as you can, and try to be there at the end. The person who's there at the end has a great chance of taking that win.
Yeah, some mindsets might be saying, hey, survive, and the other mindsets, hey, I'm getting a win. I'm going to get up front right now. We're 3 wide, as you're seeing at Talladega. A lot of room, but that can end quick when they're getting out of the corner. Good driving so far, as we still got Edward Marshall out front, Chris Rabel in the 66, he's second. Kenny Rill in third in the number 11. He's up there quick. A lot of movement on the inside and outside. We got the inside lane moving pretty good. Looks like they're stacked up and working together pretty well.
Yeah, and this third lane up top is kind of starting to move forward as well with Larson. The 18, I believe that's Charlie right there. Could be wrong, but yep, that is 18 Charlie Birch. And then you got 48 Drew Jua. And looks like they're about to have some company with the 21, with the 21 coming in behind them. So yeah, they're being a little bit more aggressive than I thought. I mean, yeah, the goal is to get to the front, but let's not wad it up before we get there.
Yeah, and they are taking it. They are taking it pretty strong here. 3 laps down, they're already 3 wide. Impressive to see, but no cautions just yet. We are still green here at Talladega. And we think we're going to take it to number 66. Take a look on him. He's right behind Chris Rabel, right behind the car in front of him. He's getting a little loose, and now he may make a move on the inside, but he's got no help from behind. Mark Whitley on the right side is going to get right in front of him. No room. Lets him by. Smart move probably by Mark, but we shall see there. He's on the outside.
And there's a lot of movement within the field right now. There's a lot of cars jostling all around. Honestly, these boys just need to kind of let the race come to them for right now There's a lot of people moving around, and it'd be so easy for somebody to make the wrong move, or they move in the same position and start the big one. So, so far so good though.
Yeah, and I will say, Brandon, you know, there's a lot of guys out here that have teammates. Hey, that's going to work to their advantage, and it may not. If you're not in a pack together and you don't have your teammate behind you, beside you, you can be lost, but you can also make a lot of moves with your teammates if you're blocking or you're traveling together as one unit. So that will be fun to watch down the road as this race goes on. 5 laps down, 80 laps will be the finish, and we end stage 1 at 20.
Yeah, and as you can see, the lane that was up high, the third lane, and they're starting to kind of fall back, kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. And it's basically because that second lane, the middle lane, is actually falling apart as well. So all that momentum that they made, unfortunately, is gone. They're going to have to, if you want to try again, they're going to really have to get closer together and push. I mean, but you got to get the rest of the guys behind you. You got to get the 51 of Larson and 2 of Brandon Shelton. You got to get them closer together if you want that third lane to move.
Yeah, that inside lane, it's kind of working together. The traveling's not so close. You would think they would move a little bit closer. They could make more movement. That second lane on the outside is kind of mixed up as they're getting contact there. But like I was saying, you need help. You need to be right on that bumper on the backstretch, front stretch. You don't really want to push anybody into the corner. If you can do it, great. But if you can't, you don't want to cause a wreck. As that guy up front there on the outside, he got left behind, and we still have side-by-side racing up front.
Yeah, there's a lot of group work that has to be done. There's a lot of communication that has to be done. And the hardest part, honestly, is when you're working with somebody when you're not in the same comms. You know, when you're not on the same team and you're like, hey, you know, this guy is pushing me here, this guy is pushing me there. You know, and I want to continue to work with this guy. But you don't have any way to communicate with them, or you're on a completely other team and there's no way of getting in contact with him to work with him. So that's probably the hardest part about the super speedway racing, man. You get connected with certain manufacturers and certain drivers and certain cars, and it just feels like though that combination works, and you can go to the front and you can make moves. But man, trying to get in communication with them or trying to tell them, hey, let's work together. That's in iRacing, that's hard unless you have a squad or text that so you kind of don't want to talk over chat and tell the whole world that's probably one of the most challenging things about the super speedways, but it makes it even more interesting, you know, to figure out how these guys are actually getting it done as well.
Absolutely, and 8 laps down, we've got a different leader now. Nick Lights in the number 4. Number 9, Nick Silver, he's going to be second. Now Mark Whitley drops to third in the number 7. Edward Marshall, Justin Sorrell, and Chris Vanderplatz, Chris Raven, they are right behind, trying to track him down to get to the front. As now we're seeing the outside lane, Mark Whitley taken away, and he's going to be up front. So much moving quick, early in this race at Talladega. I've seen so many drivers trying to get outside to go 3 wide, but they just don't get any help, and they're dropping way back in the back of the pack. You see that all the time. If you don't have teammates, no one jumps out there to help you and pushes you. You can lose a lot of spots quick, especially at Talladega.
Yeah. And again, it's like I said before, you know, early in the broadcast, this is it. This is the regular season finale. You have to position yourself, you know, with the stage coming up. You know, we're just about halfway through this first stage. 10 laps went by pretty quick, and another 10 laps, it's going to be the end of stage 1. And if you are down in points, or if you need extra points, you're going to need to get to the front. As you saw Drew making a very, very aggressive move right there. But, you know, again, you're going to see that pretty much all race, because these boys know they need the points.
They need the points now. This is, like you said, this is the final race until playoffs start. So interesting how it unfolds as we got 3 wide. Big push on the outside there in the 48. That's Drew Drua making a push. Let's see if he can make some movement here in turn 3. Inside lane still working pretty strong though, Brandon.
Yeah, the inside lane is really holding up pretty good, which I mean, for the most part, they should. But if you look at the third lane again, Mark Whitley
And
gets
there's the
through.
wreck.
Oh, they're still wrecking. Still
They're in
wrecking
the
on pit
grass,
road.
still wrecking. Is that Mark Whitley involved here?
That
That
was Mark
is.
Whitley.
Dang. He does still have a fast repair, but like I said, 11 laps in, you probably don't want to be taking that right now as we're seeing 55 go through the pits. Let's see what happened here on this wreck. Mark Whitley looks like he's getting turned right there by the 27 of Justin Sorrell. Justin's on the outside, comes on the, just gets into Mark, man.
Well, I'm gonna basically say it. Unfortunately, that would be on Mark Whitley, and the reason I'm gonna say that, if we can look at the replay one more time, there's a situation where he gets pushed far out in front of the 27 of Sorrell.
Yeah, looks like he came up a little bit there.
Yeah, so when Mark is out there, he's looking at the bottom. He's noticing, oh crap, there's a hole. I'm too late. I gotta move back up. You can't move back up at that point, unfortunately. And it's just everything is happening so fast. It's such a fluid situation that it's like you gotta react so quickly. And just that minor of a mistake can cause a big one. Thankfully, these boys have a fast repair. They're going down pit road, get their new car, come back out, and re-rack them, and we'll try again. And hopefully hopefully some of them have kind of learned from this situation here.
Yeah, early on, 9 cars involved in that caution. Man, a lot of people, a lot of drivers, but we don't see a lot of mistakes out of Mark. Typically, he's usually at the front. He's a very good driver. He's a fantastic driver. We call him the dog, or I do at least, because he's always up there, up front hunting. But you know, the front of the pack has changed a little bit as they are going into the pits. I think these are most of the drivers that were involved, and maybe they're trying to get some fuel. But what's the strategy, Brandon, on this? Because I know stage ends at 20 laps, but what do you think the strategy will be? Fuel, tires? What are you thinking here at Talladega?
I will say that you stay out. I mean, tires do make a difference here. I will say that. But in 20 laps, I don't really think it's gonna make that big of a difference. I think these guys are gonna have to, save as many. Again, staying up front. You got to caution now. We're on lap 12, and when we restart, we're probably gonna restart maybe on lap 14, lap 15. That gives you about 5 laps before the end of the stage. So stay out and try to gain as many points as you can. The likelihood of those guys on fresh tires, yeah, they possibly could get up there, but they got a lot of cars they have to pass. So Nick Light staying out was probably the move of the race so far.
Yeah, Nick Light's out front there in the number 4. Edward Marshall in the 18, I believe, 16, sorry. We shall see how this transpires. 12 laps down, first caution. Man, we had a lot of cautions last week, but this week, it's going to happen, right? You are racing so close to each other. You're side by side, 3 wide into all of these turns, front stretch, back stretch. It's bound to happen. You don't want to see it happen all the time, but that's just part of racing at Talladega. You don't want to be involved in the big one. Guys that just took their fast repair at 11 laps, they don't have another one. So they are stuck with the decision that they made, and they got caught up in a wreck early. So do you want to be up front then, Brandon, or do you want to be in the middle of the pack? Do you want to kind of just keep it calm and stay in the back? What are your thought processes if you don't have a fast repair left?
I still want to be up front, honestly. No matter
still
what,
want to be up front?
I still want to be
right.
up front.
I like it. I like it.
I have a better chance of not getting wrecked by staying up front. If you, I just feel like, because I mean, honestly, if we didn't talk about it much, but there was 3 cars who fell off the pack because they were hanging out in the back of the field. They were multiple seconds off the pack. So even with 3 cars, let's say that was the end. Let's say that was the last stage. Unless a caution came out, you weren't gonna catch the field. Your race is over. You're done. So my choice is to stay up front. If I get caught up in a wreck, I get caught up in a wreck. But at least I control my own destiny by racing up front instead of trying to magically avoid all these wrecks and and magically grabbing the top 5 or top 10.
Well, Brandon, I will tell you, you were a much aggressive driver than I am, because if I didn't have a fast repair, I would be sitting in back, and I could very easily be a 1 lap down after 15 to 16 laps. So that's just my driving style. We all
Yeah.
have different driving styles, but
Yeah.
you're looking at Frankie now. He started in the back. Look where he's at now. I mean, he's making his way up there. He's 15th.
Yeah, and again, I think he took that my approach or something similar to my approach, which was, hey, I'm back here, but I don't want to be back here. So like, even though either he hit the wall or just didn't have a very good qualifying lap, obviously he didn't want to stay back there. So that's why he's sitting top 15, top 20, and was able to avoid. I believe for the most part he was able to avoid that wreck. So, but again, being in the middle of the field is not really a good spot either, because that's where a lot of the wrecks happen as well.
Yeah, no, it is true. Middle of the pack is where the wrecks can happen, and it doesn't matter if you're on the outside or inside. You can get caught up in those wrecks very easily, as you saw the guys choosing on the choose car, high or low. I always love to see that choose car out here for the Wheels America Racing Network Unit Storage 200 in this Cup Series. Cool aspect of what we do, but man, pace car is out, lights are still on. We've got one more lap, and then those lights will turn off, and we'll go back racing here at Talladega. Been some good racing so far. One caution will happen. This stage ends at 20 laps, so we're a little over halfway to go. Points matter too, Brandon. We've talked about it early on. Playoffs are right there. We got Six, Barossa, Whitley, Dunk, Jewett, and Lights already plugged into the playoff. They're already in. But then we got guys on the bubble: Fetter Place, Mealy, Fleming, Smith, Diamond. All those guys, all those drivers are trying to make their way to get into the playoffs. Everything counts tonight. Talladega on this track, I don't know how that even happens, because if all the points matter and we're on this track, it's got to be just grinding out there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and like you said, every point matters. If somebody loses, I don't know, let's just say, for example, and I don't know this at all because the race is still going on, but let's just say, Matt Wright, misses it by 14 points, or I'm sorry, let's say he misses it by 2 points. He's going to be kicking himself for while that whole playoffs is going on, because he's going to be looking back, trying to figure out where, at what point did I give up 2 points, because that's all it takes to miss the playoffs, just 2 points. So these guys have got to try to maximize, especially like I said, Wright, Sorrell, Graham, and Biddy. They've got to try and minimize as many points to lose. So Biddy is, even though he's 54 points back, having good stage finishes can kind of help that in a sense. Can he possibly point his way in? It's probably not likely. But if something were to happen, another big wreck happens, that scenario starts to change a little bit. But as of right now, the likelihood of trying to get up there and trying to gain all those points is probably not likely. But again, we still have a long race to go. We're only on lap 14. They're going to restart with 5 laps to go, I believe. So if we thought it was aggressive before, it's about to get ramped up.
It is about to get ramped up as pace car is off, and Nick Lights now, and that number 4 is going to take us away on this green flag here at Talladega. Mike in that 77, he's in 2nd place, and we got Edward Marshall in 16. He's in 3rd. Green flag is out. Chris Vanderplat's in that 21. He's in 4th position. Don't count him out, as Nick Lights in that number 4 gets a good jump on the inside. Edward Marshall in the 16 is following right behind. Mike in that 77 on the inside lane too, going to push and work together, but looks like that outside lane is bunched up, and looks like they're going to be drafted pretty well. 15 laps down. This stage is going to end at 20 laps, so we're right there at the end of this stage 1.
Yeah, these I'm seeing some separation, so my theory could be completely out the window. But for the guys that need the points, but starting to see a little bit more movement now. So like I said, they got 4 laps now to try and get there and try to get it done. Let's hope that they don't wreck again, because that's gonna hurt a lot of people. But guys are definitely getting after it right now.
Yeah, it looks like they're feeling a little more comfortable. We're going side by side, not a lot of 3-wide racing like we saw early on in this race. I was shocked, and you were shocked to see it too. 16 laps down, and they're looking pretty confident. But 2 to 3 laps in early, they were 3 wide, and they thought we were on the last lap trying to win this race. Looks like everyone is figuring it out after that first caution. One guy's on the outside, tries to push to 3 wide as he does. I think he's going to get lost. Frankie's going to pass him. And he's going to be falling back a few spots, if not more. Got one group up front. Looks like there's another pack in the back trying to make it, but I don't think they're going to get there to the finish of this stage 2 if it stays green. 17 laps down. Nick Lights in the number 4.
We got a car
and we got a wreck.
27. Oh, there's
big
still
hit.
wrecking.
Oh no, Brandon. Not sure who was involved there, but that's going to be a bad hit.
Yeah, it looks like that was the 27, Sorrell. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, Justin Sorrell in this 27, Brandon.
Oh.
So 27 gets spun
geez.
right there.
Okay. I'm not sure if somebody. Oh. And that is possibly could end Meek's day if he took, because he was involved in that last one. So if unfortunately if he took his fast repair, and with that hit, I'm gonna probably say he has quite a bit of damage.
I hope not, Brandon, because I talked about this early, and he got hit last race. He went into the tires, and he almost turned upside down, and his day was done early as well. I'm not sure if he has a fast repair or not, but this is too early in the race for him to be done. I hope he does, but we'll see.
Yeah, and real quick, sorry, we didn't announce it. Congratulations to Nick Lights on winning the stage 1, because it was within 5 laps to go, so that will be the end of that stage as well.
Yeah, that caution brings out the end of stage 1. Nick Lights with the win. Congratulations to him. Edward Marshall in the 16 got 2nd. Nick Biddy in the 32, he got 3rd. And Chris Vanderplaats in the 21, he finished 4th.
Hey, I said Nick Biddy needed the points, right? He came up there and he finished 3rd. Took a whole bunch of points from those boys. So that's going to be it. And just told, biggest move of the race. So that's the type of aggressiveness that you need to have going into these super speedway races. And he showed what he needs to do. So I don't know. Unfortunately, we don't have live points. I'm not able to tell you how many points he has. We will get that.
We'll get some information, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that, but we don't have it right this second. But I can tell you that if he was 54 points back, finishing 3rd, that's
well, I'll tell you what, Brandon. I'll tell you what. Nick Biddy started 25th and finished that at 5th or 3rd. Yeah. Excuse me, I believe. Yeah, he started 25th on grid, so he did make his way through there. I think we have some information on points, I believe. Could be wrong. We'll get that later. We're trying to figure out the point system here, because playoffs are right around the corner, and every point counts. And like me and Brandon were talking about, it's cool to see him up there. He needs it. He needs it now to get into the bubble, at least the playoffs. Right, Brandon?
Right.
And in fact, I think we're gonna bring in Nick Lights right now to congratulate him on his stage 1 win. Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, Nick. Well, you got stage 1 win. Congratulations to that. We are at Talladega. It looks like you made some movement through the pack. You're doing pretty well out there. How do you feel right now in that car?
Feels pretty good out front. That's where I like to be in these things, not riding around the back. I did that in the truck race, and it got me in some trouble. So I'm just gonna try to focus on staying up front and staying clean, and hopefully we can be up front at the end of it and take the win.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you got to do. Brandon, you got something for Nick real quick?
Yeah, man, congratulations on your stage 1 win. It's funny that this whole race I've been talking about aggressiveness and trying to stay up front and everything, and that's exactly what you're doing. So love to see it, man. Love to see it. Um, hey, man, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm telling you what, you guys are putting on a great show tonight. You're making it entertaining. You're definitely showing how aggressive you guys can be and still be clean racing at the same time. So keep it up, and we'll see if we'll be talking to you for stage 2, maybe.
Yeah, awesome. I meant to. I know the camera thing. I didn't have it on this week, but I know I know last week you wanted to ask a question about my qualifying effort. But yeah, I did, hit the wall and I got knocked out there. So it's
Okay,
great.
okay. That explains it. I was wondering, like, did he knock himself out? I think that's what happened.
I think
Okay,
I think that's what happened.
okay. Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. That makes so much more sense now.
Everyone at home was worried, by the way, Nick. So we just got to clarify it up here so we could tell everyone watching that you're okay. And he's back. You're all right, right?
Yeah, we got those good track safety workers who help us there, so we're all good
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man.
All right. Well, Brandon, Nick with the stage 1 win. We've got to go to the 40 laps until stage 2 ends. One
Mhm.
caution. Been great racing so far. I love to see this. A lot of movement. If you're looking at where drivers started and where they're finishing, man, there's so much movement. You'll see that at Talladega Super Speedway. But one thing I want to say is if you're making those many passes, you're making that many moves through the pack without cautions, they're give and take. They're on the outside, they're on the inside. It's just so much fun, and that's what brings so much action to Talladega, and that's why everyone's here watching this, and that's why all these drivers are so excited to be out here racing on this track, Super Speedway today, and then the end of the playoffs. I mean, there's so much on the line. It's hard for me to express how cool this is, and it's exciting, man.
Yeah, and there's always and some drivers like it, some drivers don't. I would prefer the challenge. I would prefer having kind of like what Kevin Harvick said and Tony Stewart and
I
some
knew
of
you were
the
gonna say that. I
some
knew
of
you were
those
gonna
other
say that.
vets. They like to be against the wall. Put me in a position, put me in, coach. Let me make the game plan win, and I'm gonna go ahead and show what we can do. And that's what these guys are showing. That's what Nick Biddy showed today. So far in stage 1, put me in a position, and I will show you guys I can actually go out here and win this race.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to start stage 2 here right now as we got Chris in that 66. Yeah, 66. Sorry, Chris in that 66. He's going to take us away here. Green flag's out again. Talladega. Drew Drua, Edward Marshall, Joseph Mealy, Nick Biddy there. Chris Vanderplat's right behind as we are green flag going racing. And we've got a big wreck early on. Man, that's going to take out a lot of drivers. Oh, my.
Man,
That
what
is
happened?
tough. We're about to take a look here. Looks like the number 18, Charlie Birch, got into some trouble here. Checking up, hit from the 65. Oh, my.
Well, I mean, he only had one car drive through him, and for the most part, he avoided a lot. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure. It looks like he gets. I don't know. I had to.
I think Frankie's whole team had some contact there, Brandon.
It's a good possibility.
I'm looking at the cars. I'm looking at the drivers. There was a lot of contact by all the same teammates. Unfortunate. You don't want to see that on a restart, especially here at Talladega, because they want to get off. They want to go, and they're so close. And that's what you see right there. Everyone's involved. Unfortunate. 22 laps down.
So I did go and look a little bit further at the replay and see if we could figure out where it started. So unfortunately, it looks like it started with the 32 with Biddy. It looks like when they went green, Biddy was technically already on the 16, and then it was basically just an accordion effect, going back to the 21 to the 26, and the 18 is on the 26 bumper, and then gets tagged from the rear, and it just turns them. So, uh, it happens. You hate for it to happen on the final race of the season because as we stated the whole race, you cannot afford to get caught up in other people's messes. These
Yeah.
points are crucial. These points are so important. And now, hopefully, those guys still have a fast repair or that they don't have a lot of damage. If you have a broken toe link, you're going to go down multiple laps. If you have any aero damage, you're going to go down, you're not going to be able to keep up with the pack. So it's it's a crucial situation. But again, how you deal with it and what the outcome is of that wreck right there, we might see some people fall out of making the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 cars involved there, and it's almost like it was at full speed, and we saw a wreck after the start-finish line. But this was actually, in fact, on a restart. Pretty wild to see that many cars involved like that, but it's actually unfortunate because, like you were just saying, if guys don't have a fast repair left, then they're done. If their car if they don't have any RPMs left, they got too much damage, they are done, and they're not coming back on the track. Or if they do come back, their laps down. So it's too bad to see. I don't know if Meeks was involved there, and I'm not sure. He's in 14th. Looks like he's okay. One guy we talked about early where he got some damage, but wow, that is unfortunate with only 23 laps into 80 laps here at Talladega.
And I did check. Meeks actually looked like he was pretty good. He didn't have any scrapes on his car, so I'm gonna say that he's doing pretty good now. So again, it's situations like that can happen, but it's all about how you can minimize yourself from getting involved in that. Some things is out of your control, but the things when you can control it, you take advantage of that and try to not put yourself in that position.
Yeah, well, on restarts and when you're trying to get position quick and get behind that car and get the draft early on, you were saying these things do happen, and it's unfortunate. You want to be in a position where you don't get involved, but sometimes you're just stuck, and you got to take what the race gives you. So, and these are what these guys are doing. We're gonna see some cars a lap down. We're going to see some of these drivers out, but we still got to go. We still got playoffs, and there's still drivers out here that are competing and try to get into that playoff. And then we got drivers on the bubble. So still live action out here. Nothing's changed. 23 laps down. This is our third caution. 3 under racing. Two under racing. 1 was because of the stage caution. So far at Talladega, I love what I'm seeing. It's fun. This race, this track, the super speedway. It's so exciting for everybody at home, for myself. Brandon might have a different opinion, but myself, I love this type of racing.
Super speedways are not really my forte, just because of how aggressive you have to be. And then you kind of have to rely on other drivers to either play nice or help you or not wreck around you. So it's a lot of different scenarios that can happen where, if you're on a mile and a half or short track or something like that, I mean, situations are just different. So again, super speedways are not bad. They're just not my favorite races to do. But if you win, all that goes out the window, so it doesn't even matter anymore.
Absolutely. Well, and we'll talk about Atlanta, right? The new Atlanta. You were racing there last week, I believe, or this week, and you finished pretty well, did you not?
Yeah. In the other league that I'm in, I did go ahead and finish third, and my goal again was the same philosophy as I've been preaching from the very beginning: be aggressive, stay up front. When you're aggressive and you stay up front, you kind of gain the trust from other drivers. Drivers will know, like, hey, okay, I can trust him. I can work with him. Like I can race around him, and I know that he's not gonna put me in a situation where we're all gonna wreck or something like that. So, um, and in hindsight, I think some of these guys might have to do that. Some of the guys that don't really run up front all the time, there's maybe some kind of hesitation with certain drivers working with other drivers. So I think, Nick Biddy kind of is one of those guys. He's not really up front too often. He's a solid driver, but I'm not saying he's not. He just doesn't run up front. So, but I think people are starting to see what he can do, and there'll probably be some guys definitely work with him to try and keep him up front there.
Absolutely, and we'll see what we can do, and we'll see what Chris Rabel can do in the 66 as the pace car is off, and we're going to go green here again at Talladega. This stage ends at 40 laps. We are 24 laps in, and we're going to go green again as Drew in the 48 is in second on the outside. Edward Marshall, Nick Biddy, Ryan Dunkelberger, Chris Vanderplatz in the 21, and Michael Lanphier right there, as Chris Rabel on the inside is going to get a push behind Edward Marshall on that 16. Excuse me, Drew in the 48. Side by side as they go into turn one. Good so far. 25 laps down. Looks like that outside lane is going to take a push as well. Look at that, Brandon Drew on that 16 or that 66 right behind him on that bumper. Unbelievable.
And he's got to be careful, because I can see that the 48 is kind of moving around on the 66 rear bumper. You cannot do that too often. You're going to mess around and spin the guy that you're pushing. So got to keep it clean.
And as you're looking at it right now, you look to the right, we've got the playoff bubble. So that gives you an idea of where these points stand and where these drivers need to be to get up into the playoff run, into the bubble, or you're out. A lot of these drivers right now, Meeks looks like he's still in it. He's right there, right? Sorrell, Graham, Biddy. All drivers that are trying to compete here at Talladega to get into the playoffs.
Looking at that, the only person that actually gained points that's out of it currently right now is Biddy. Biddy went from 54 points out to, and unfortunately I can't read that small number, but it's 40 something, 46. So that's quite a bit of points. If he can go ahead and do that again and pick up another 7 or 8, he'll be only minus 30 something. And if he gets enough, he can actually pick up a slot with Graham. So that gives you an even better chance to possibly point your way in if you can't. So he's doing everything he needs to do right now. He just has to stay alive and be there at the end to try and either point his way in or to try and win it all.
Absolutely, as we got Edward Marshall, Chris Rabel now in the 66. He's up front. Drew in second. Biddy dropping back a little bit. He's in fifth now. Ryan Dunkelberger makes some moves in the 26. A lot of changes in there side by sides. Not much 3 wide. I think those cautions early are making them a little conservative, as we see 48 still on the back of that 66, pushing him as hard as he can. They're drafting pretty well up front there. If the second line on the outside could do the same, they may be getting a push, and we have a different leader. We're not seeing that right now. Getting a little bit of loose there in the 48, but keeping it clean. 28 laps still down.
Yeah, and I mean, the 48, Drew it. He won the first race of the season. He won the Daytona race, so he knows obviously what he's doing. The 66, the Chris Rabel, is a substitute for Brandon 6, but not only is that car fast, the driver is fast as well. He's been running up front every race that he's substituted for Brandon 6, so it shows what he can do. These guys that are running up front, they know what they're doing. They know what they need to do to win as well. And as I can see with where am I? Lane of Graham is pushing his way to the front using the third lane. Now, again, he's going to need some help as Brandon Shelton moves up to the high side. He's going to try and see if he can lead that as well.
That's his big help in that third lane up there. You don't see that often, but they're going to try to make this work right now. A lot of times you'll see that third lane kind of break up, but guys in that second lane went up and said, okay, let's run it right now and see what happens. Not much pushing anymore. They kind of lost contact. That outside lane, second lane, trying to make it work, but the inside is still pushing as we got Chris Rabel in that 66 still out front. Now, one thing I want to bring up, Brandon, do you think we'll have some issues with overheating if they're getting that close and they're drafting? Do you need some fresh air? Get that engine to breathe a little bit so you don't overheat? Is that something we may see?
I would say the only two cars that, so you see the 54, Matt Smith, he is taking, I would assume he's bailing, and didn't blow up. I'm gonna hope that he didn't blow up. He just, didn't like something. So, but to answer your question, I mean, as far as the overheating and stuff like that, I think the only two cars right now that would probably be in concern would probably be the 66, Chris Rabel, and the 48, Drew. They are pushing like it's the end of the race. But, so, Drew, as being the pusher, has to be mindful of his temps every time he gets close to the 66 rear bumper. For the most part, Vinny is pushing the 16 or starting to push the 16, but, he's not connected to the bumper. He's kind of just giving them slight taps to kind of move forward. So, it just depends on how aggressive you are with the pushing. If you're doing, like I said, what 48 and 66 is doing, yes, you need to be mindful. If you're doing what the 16 and 32 are doing, don't really need to be mindful of that. You're probably just trying to just continue along, and when it's time to start pushing, the 32 will probably start.
Yeah, and we were just on those race cams, and if you're at home watching, it's amazing how well banked and how much bank these corners are. I mean, if you go back and look at some of these drivers and watch their race cams, that camera tilts so much, you kind of get a perspective of these corners, and I don't know the degree exactly, but I know it's a lot. These corners are banked so well. That's why these guys can go pedal to the metal and not let off and get right behind each car, each driver, and draft. It's cool to see this, and we see it at Daytona, we see it at Talladega, now Atlanta a little bit, not as much, but man, it's wild. Yeah, Brandon, I think it's 33 degrees. Am I correct?
That is correct. 33 degrees in the turns for Talladega. Even bigger degree change at Daytona. And I think it's even bigger than that. So, as you see, the 9 and the 34, they're trying to start the third lane. Well, the 9 got a little wiggle coming up there, but looks like they're going to try and make something happen. But yeah, I mean, these tracks are so big, and you're carrying so much momentum. And you see the 32 go up there and try to, oh my goodness, what a move by the 32. But again, he's doing what he needs to do. He looked in this mirror and saw that the high line was coming and said, you know what, I'm gonna let the 9 push me. But is the 9 gonna stay with him? I don't think so. The 9 is going to leave him and the 65. So interesting strategy. Again, I don't know if it's because the 32 hasn't, really ran up front too often. So they're not really 100% comfortable with pushing him. Not sure what he can do. So it's just, situational situations of what drivers can do and what drivers can't do. So, and now you see the 34 and the 9 being put in the middle. Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a little bit of an aggressive move from the 9. What? Hey, the 9 is locked in, and I believe he's locked in. Actually, no, I'm sorry, he is not locked in, but he is. No, he's not locked in. So he's just going for the wins. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the win, but hey, 35 laps down. stage ends at 40, so 5 laps to go, and that's why you're seeing a bunch of movement. It was interesting to see that middle lane just kind of fall apart, and that outside lane looked like it was building up, but
my
then
goodness.
also fell apart, and now we got side by side, 3 in the back as one driver goes below the yellow line, gets right back in it. As you're looking at Mark Whitley there on the inside making some quick moves, and the number 9 right behind him. That's Nick Silver.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys are getting loose or if there's something's going on, but it looks like these guys are coming off the corner and they are loose. And the last time we really had situations like that was the last build. So I'm wondering if maybe some of these guys did not take tires. I do remember that there were some people who didn't, but I don't know how many. So I wonder if these guys are just starting to get loose because those tires are starting to catch up with them.
Yeah, you're seeing it right there. Guys are getting loose. Drivers are trying to figure out what's going on here coming out of the corners. That's typically when it happens. We've only had 2 cautions here tonight so far at Talladega, 36 laps in. Looking on board there, they're crossing. Not much on that 3rd line anymore as they're trying to figure it out side by side. Outside lane's making a good run right now. Looks like they're drafted pretty well. 2 lap cars far outside. Looks like they're going to let the field go by. Let's see if this causes any issues. They will have to take it 3 wide to get by him. Chris Rabel in that 66 still out front. Drew in that 48 pushing him. And Ryan Dunkelberger in the 26 is in 3rd.
And it looks like we're putting 2 cars a lap down. The 18 of Charlie Birch and the 27 of Justin Sorrell. And I mean, they're doing the right thing. You know, they ran the high line and were being respectful and know that, hey, I can still get a lap back. Possibility I can still get back in it, but you got to be there. Oh, these guys are getting swirly in the back. The green and silver car wars. But, you know, shout out to, you know, them car. I know it sucks to go laps down, but you know, big picture, right? You know, if you can be there at the end, then you know there's something to at least go for it there at the end of the race.
Yeah, we're at 30, I believe, 8 laps down, and guess what? You could come back 2 laps down. Don't get me wrong. There could be multiple cautions where you're getting the lucky dog and you're back on lead lap. You're seeing right now 3rd line. They're going 3 wide. May get a push. I believe that's Meeks in that 55 outside. He's getting a little block. Meeks gets into it. Now we're going to maybe going 3 wide, 4 wide. No, they keep it together. Unbelievable there, diving in. I think they're trying to get those late stage 2 points right now. 38 laps in. This ends at 40, so only 1 now, 1 to go. Chris Rabel in the 66. If it stays true what it is, he will get stage 2 winner. But Drew in that 48 is right behind him, pushing him, and you know he's going to try to make that pass to get this stage 2 points. So it's going to be fun to watch the end of this.
Looks like the 9 of Nick Silver. Oh no, we got connection issues. We got a 26 of Dunkelberger. No, don't wreck.
Get through. Wow.
Oh, I think that was the 04. I think the 26 blinked, and the 04 went through him.
As he's making a pass on the outside, looks like Drew is going to try to get this stage 2 win. Can he get it? I think he did. He did. Drew in that 48. Congratulations to him. Passes Chris Rabel in that 66 at the very end, and we got 1 car in the back that's in the wall. But man, stage 2, unbelievable. Looks like we're gonna take a look at this, Brandon. It looks like we had a driver into the wall, gets loose, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's connected issues. Yeah, because you still have cars going through them and stuff, so it's. Yeah, so we have to see if he in fact has damage. I don't know. It doesn't look like he has any, but.
You know, that's interesting on this stuff here. This is sim racing, so connections matter. Internet connections do matter here on this racing. But when this happens, you get you get cars involved here that they may not take any damage at all. You saw on the replay there that he was halfway into another car and nothing was happening. That's just a connection problem. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, before we talk to our Stage 2 winner, Drew, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back here at Talladega. Welcome back to here at Talladega after that quick commercial break. I think we're going to bring in Drewa, the Stage 2 winner, and he's with us right now. Drew, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations on that win of Stage 2. Man, you were pushing. You were right behind. I knew you were going to set it up to try to make that move and get that Stage 2 win. How do you feel about that, and how's the car treating you?
Yeah, I mean, we made the right strategy call. I know me and the 66. We stayed out at the end of Stage 1. We pitted a little earlier in the, I think it was the second caution. We got all the track position we needed, and after that, we kind of just held strong, and I made the right move at the right time. He kind of was a sitting duck after, I don't really know what happened to Ryan, but, you know, it's kind of unfortunate for him, but, you know, we won another stage at a plate track. We won at Daytona, so we're going to try and sweep the regular season plate tracks.
Absolutely. Brandon, you got something quick for Drew before he goes back to racing?
Yeah, congratulations on your Stage 2 win there, sir. Like you said, as I stated earlier in the broadcast, you won the first initial race of the season at Daytona. How do you feel about possibly winning the last race of the regular season?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, I've been working with the buoy cars all night. We're going to try and put our team in the right position, and I feel like if I'm second coming to that to the tri-oval, I think I can replicate what I just did again in Stage 2.
All right. Again, congratulations on your Stage 2 win, and maybe we'll see you at the end of the race.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, Brandon, I will say that's one guy we need to look out for because he feels really comfortable on these plate track racing, these super speedways. Like you said, he got the win early on in the season, and tonight he's looking strong again. That's one driver that you're going to have to look out for.
Yeah, definitely. And so, since we're referring to that, we're going to bring in AJ so we can make our picks for the final race of the regular season.
What's up, YouTube?
AJ, you go hit first and tell us who your pick is.
Well, I'm going to take somebody who really stunk up qualifying and has really battled his way back. Currently having an issue back in 19th, but we know Talladega can go anywhere. I'm going to take Frankie Barroso in the number 12. So I'm going to go with him. He's shown a lot of speed. Bowie, who you got?
I am going to go with Drew. I think he's gonna get. I think he's gonna be able to get back to back, and I think he's gonna be able to. He won the first one. I think he'll be able to finish it off and win the final one in the regular season.
All right, Emery, what you got, pal?
Well, Brandon goes again with the front runner, but that's typical of him. I'm going to go with a guy who battles every week, every Thursday night here at Cup, Chris Vanderplatz. 20 in the number 21. He started 21st. All right, he's the fan favorite. If you ever go to Wheels America Racing Network, he's got so many fans on this stream. It's amazing. He started 21st. He's now sitting third, and we're talking about it. We're going back green. I apologize about that, but wow, I got Chris, and we're back green here at our final stage. This is going to end at 80. This race is going by quick. We got Mark Whitley now up front. Brandon Fetterplace, Chris Vanderplatz, that's hard to say there, 1, 2, and 3, as we're going 43 laps down now. We're looking on the outside, is getting a better push than we've seen all race, as Mark Whitley, I think, there's getting caught up on the inside lane.
Yep. And these guys know what they got to do now. One of the problems is, first, you got to catch Drew. That's probably the first thing these guys are realizing. Hey, we're going to have to gang up on that guy. We're going to have to pin him down, and I need as many people as possible to get to this high line and work together to get past him, because obviously he has a fast car. Obviously he is really, really good on these super speedways, and he understands what he needs to do. And not discounting anybody else, but just as what we've seen tonight, he's been up front all night long. So again, these guys are going to have to be really, really aggressive to try and take that win away.
Yeah, I think he's got what it takes. He's one of the drivers out here at Talladega, really on the bumper, doing the draft as you should. We're not seeing a lot of those other drivers doing what he is. So take notes, because that's one of the guys that will be pushing the 1, 2, 3 guy up front, and then he can make a move to try to get a win. And that's what it takes at these plate racing. This is what you got to do. You got to learn how to get right on that bumper, draft, and do it consistently, but also in a safe manner. You don't want to go into the corners and turn a car. That's just something you can't do, because you're going to cause a big wreck, and it might get yourself involved. So kudos to him, man. He's doing it. He's doing it today. We'll see how this finishes, but Brandon Fetterplace in that 34 now out front, looking pretty confident as well. Looking back in the middle of the pack, we've got drivers side by side. Mark Whitley, he's kind of getting slow there, gets bumped on the back there by the 30. Not sure what's going on with him. Maybe he doesn't like what's happening in front of him. He kind of laid off the throttle. 45 laps in, Brandon, we're getting crazy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys what happened with Mark Whitley. He made a move, and he went to the high side to get in front of the 04 of Wright, and he gave him a shot. And I don't know if Mark Whitley's car didn't like that or what, but he was squirrely for 2 laps straight. And the 04 said, I'm done with you. So they left him out to dry. The 04 and the 65 moved up high and passed him. So I don't know if maybe he has some damage, and either he doesn't have all the damage fixed, or maybe it's just not feeling right, so he's kind of taking it easy. But I'm not sure what's going on. But hey, I'm hearing in my ear, my favorite part of the race is coming up.
Absolutely. Number 34, Brandon Fetterplace. As we cross, we're going to bring the noise right now here at Talladega.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back as we saw not really the big one, but a semi-big one. I would say that. And it looked like Kenny Real. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like maybe a bump gone wrong, but man, it's not good. That's not good. It doesn't look like too many people were involved, which is good, but the guys that were involved, as I stated earlier in the race, if you already use your fast repair, it's game over.
Yeah, and you're looking at his facial expression right now. He is upset, not happy about this one. But he just got turned in the wall, hit again. Ooh, and from the back. Yeah, I don't know if he does have any fast repairs. If he doesn't, might be the end of his day, or he's going to drop some laps down. Unfortunate, man. He was doing early. He was doing good early on, and as you see, he was on the outside, making a run. Just got caught up here.
Yeah, and of course, you gotta make it so that the people understand. There's nothing he did wrong, and even the person that's pushing him, there's really nothing they did wrong either. It's just one of those things where it's number one, it's a super speedway, and it's just when the bumpers don't align properly, or one person moves a little bit to the left or to the right, and the other person doesn't follow. It snags that bumper and it just turns that car.
Yeah, well, 50 laps down. This is going to bring out another caution. We are already finished stage 2, so we're on our final stage. We're going to end this race at 80. But we got some points there. Playoff bubble points again updated. You're looking on the right side there. Lanfear, Marshall, Shelton, Larson, Meeks. Those are all numbers that they're trying to get into the playoffs. This is the last race until the playoffs are finished. But yeah, Brandon, I think Wrights, Rail, Graham, and Biddy, they're out. Other guys are right there and in. As we're looking at Kenny going to the pits. Let's see if he has a fast repair. He may be sitting there for just some time to get back on that track.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised, honestly, that the points haven't really moved as much as I thought they were. I mean, Lanfear has gained some points. Marshall has also has gained actually quite a bit of points. He's gained a total of 10 points. He went from 17 to the good. Now he's 27 to the good. So, and then Shelton actually stayed the same. So there isn't as much movement in the points as I thought there would be. But that's not, but that's not a bad thing. It honestly just sets it up for the bottom 4. They have to win. I mean, that's you now don't have a chance of getting enough points to get there. So if that's the case, you have to win. No if, no ands or buts about it. You go out there, you put your car on the line, and you try to go for it. That's the only thing you can do at this point.
Yeah, and one guy that's putting it all out on the line is Frankie. He's always I promise you, the last 3 races, he seems like he's kind of been in the mix, but he's been sitting in the back. And Frankie started 32nd. Now I believe he's sitting right at 12th. Wow, look at him go. I mean, he's done this the last 3 races. We haven't talked about him a whole lot, and then before you know it, into the race, he's in that top 5, top 10. So he's being very patient.
Yeah, and that's one philosophy, and that's one way of doing it. It's nothing. As I said from the beginning of the broadcast, I have my philosophy on how I do things. He has his philosophy on how he does things. None of us are wrong. It's just how you would like to portray yourself as being in the race. And it seems like for him, hey, I'd rather not push it. I'd rather not put myself in positions where I'm possibly going to get wrecked. So he's taking it easy. He hasn't really, I don't think he's cracked the top 5 yet. And that's possibly his strategy. The fact that he's going to wait until this round or this stage, and then he's going to actually go for it. He's going to put the pedal down, and he's going to be like, hey, you guys don't forget about me. I can go out here and I can win a race as well.
Yeah, well, your pick, Brandon, Drew in the 48, he's up front. My pick, the number 21, Chris Vanderplatz, he's right there in third. And yeah, AJ Frankie's right there in 12th. Let's see what happens as the lights are off, and this caution car will be coming off here shortly. We'll be 53 laps down here at Talladega. Just want to thank everyone here, Wheels America Racing Network. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you always tuning in on YouTube at the Unit Storage 200 Wheels America Cup Series. A lot of action tonight, Brandon, as we thought we would see, and it's unfolding right now. I love the change of pace up front. Not a lot of three wide racing so far. We had some cautions early. Guys got banged up, but they're still competing. They're still doing it. They're out here putting on a show.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what you do at a super speedway. You know, you got the damage. Okay, I'm still gonna go out there and I'm gonna give it 110%. I mean, that's what you are supposed to do, because if a big wreck happens, you've now just gained spots. So it's really a situation where you just don't give up. You know, yeah, you've been spun around. Yeah, you've hit the wall. You've got damage. You've got it fixed. You've used up your fast repairs. You possibly could have also used up all your tires. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you're still running, you still have a chance to win.
Yes, you do. And there's only 2 cars off the pace, the lead laps. And 52 laps in, we're over halfway. There's only 2 cars here at Talladega that are off the lead lap, as we got the 48 of Drua in that number 1 spot, going to take us green flag here at Talladega. Chris Rabel in that 66 in the number 2nd spot. And then we got Silver number 9. He's in 3rd. Fantastic racing so far, as we got a green flag underway, as 48 on the inside is going to take off and get a good jump right behind number 3 Silver.
And it looks like the Nick Silver is going to get to his teammate. He's going to push him.
Brandon, it looks like we're already 3 wide off the restart, but no help up top. He's going to lose some spots quick here.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Dunkelberg, I'm probably doing the same thing. If I'm him, I am irritated that I got turned. I am mad that I possibly, that is, I don't know. Still working. I have to go back and see exactly what happened there. They were side by side, but
looks like that was number 20, Andrew. Is that number 20, Andrew? Yeah, the number 20, Andrew Bolander there. Man. Look at a replay here.
Better angle here. Yeah, it looks like Dunkelberger possibly was trying to side draft him and got too close. Turned him, which is now going to definitely end his day. Well, let me take that back. Might not end his day. These cars are pretty strong. But could have a broken toe or could have quite a bit of or significant amount of right side damage. So we'll have to see. As far as the 20, there's a possibility that he hit pretty hard into the wall. So his car could be done. Hopefully not. Hopefully both of these guys can get back out there and, like I said, get it fixed and re-rack them, try again.
Yeah, that is one situation. Those are the contacts we don't want to see. That's unfortunate for Bolander, but man, hopefully his car's not too banged up and he can get back out here. Ryan just came down a little bit, caused some contact. Yeah, Charles got into him pretty good. I take that back. 20's got some big damage. Andrew's not happy.
No, I wouldn't be either. And as I stated before, it's now the last stage. And we're coming down to it. We currently have what? I'm trying to do my math in my head. 35 laps to go. So 20 or 25 laps, something like that. 25. Sorry, folks, trying to do math in my head at the same time and thinking. Not good for me. So with 25 to go, these guys have got to start thinking about strategy. Do you want to come in and take tires? Do you want to stay out and have all that track position? Hopefully your tires are not too bad at this point, and not too wore down. Hopefully you're good on fuel. Hopefully you took enough fuel. So there's a lot of different strategies that are probably going through these drivers' heads right now, trying to figure out what's the right call. And then you also have the choose cone. Which lane do you pick? Do you pick the low line? You pick the high line? And if you pick the high line, can you get your teammates to go with you to the high or to the low? Or man, it's so many different options. It's so many different situations. As you're watching, these guys choose. Drew Drua, stays up high along with his teammate in the 66th. They're both going to stay up on the high line. And Nick Silver, I believe, picked the he's gonna now move up to P2, and he's gonna run the bottom. Along with the 77 of Mike Corva, he's gonna run four what would that be? I guess third in line on the bottom. So choose makes a difference. How much fuel you have makes a difference. I mean, whether you took tires or not makes a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have, if we get going green, we are going to have some slicing and dicing, and we are going to see some hard racing for people trying to make it into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And Brandon, we always saw stage 2 be the factor. That was always the changing part. That was the time where drivers were really making the moves and the changes and the tires and all that stuff came in the factor. We're on a different track, but now late in this race, the final stage, now we're starting to see it. So also the one thing that drivers want to pick is the inside lane, outside lane, what's working best. It's hard for me to even judge in the booth to try to figure out if the top lane is the quickest. We can't see 3 wide. Everyone that goes 3 wide gets left behind and they drop way back. Drivers on the outside are not getting the best push. It seems like the inside lane has been the best all night. But we shall see, man. It's hard to get a feel.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if we're gonna be honest, I mean, this is probably as close to real life as you can get. But there are some factors that are not included. For example, you look at the real NASCAR racing. Okay, let's say you have a Denny Hamlin, you have a Joe Logano, you have a Brad Keselowski, a Chris Buescher, a Bubba Wallace. I'm probably missing a driver or two. Those are the guys that are usually really good on the super speedways. Chase Elliott and probably somebody else I'm missing. But if you had all them lined up behind each other, that's the lane to go with. That's the powerhouse to go with. Here, I have no clue. Manufacturer support doesn't make a difference. The power in all these cars are all the same. The setups are all the same. So it honestly just depends on who's the better pusher. And honestly, in the top 10, all those guys are great pushers. So I don't know what lane to even choose. I'm glad I'm not on the track right now.
Yeah, and some of these drivers that are making their way through the pack, Mitch Diamond, he started 23rd. Now he's 4th. We got guys like Joe David is 22nd starting grid. Now he's 8th. Nick Biddy, he started 25th. Now he's 9th. 25 laps to go. That caution car is getting off the track now. Drew Drua and Nick Silver in the 1 and 2 spot. That will be an interesting battle as we go green again, because Nick Silver, he's one guy you want to look out for. He finds himself up to the top 5 all the time, and Drew's got some company. He's going to have to battle his way through to get past him. Chris Rabel, Mitch Diamond, Mark Whitley, Nat Severall there as we go green again. 25 laps to go. 24 laps left here at Talladega. Green flag's underway.
Interesting strategy. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. That usually does not work with 2 cars being switched to the high side and coming down. But hey, it worked here. And as you see, all these boys are fanning out. They're 3 wide back there. These guys, they know what time it is.
They do know what time it is. This is the crunch time.
Oh,
Drew out front,
American.
and they're getting turned again.
The 54
Still
is gonna
green, I
save
think.
it.
Still
Save
green.
it, save it, save it.
Come off the.
Oh.
He tried to hang on to it, got in the grass, got loose, came back on the track, and got into some contact. I think that's just a situation where he just couldn't get control of it. You're going that fast, you get in that grass, it's like ice.
Yep.
And when you go back on the track, even if you have the brakes on it, you're turning, there's nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Looked like it was the time before.
Yeah, I don't think we're on the
Don't think that-
current
yeah.
current replay.
So
I have a
as
little
we're going
technical
back, yeah,
difficulties.
we're trying to figure this out here. It's all good. This is live broadcasting to its finest, and we will go back and look at it right now. So a little bit of checkup on the inside is what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, they were definitely checking up on the inside. I literally
Yep.
watched them. I don't understand why they were checking up so hard. Yeah, so I mean, the 54 gets the worst of it as Charlie Birch gets into him, and 54 is trying to keep it off the grass, and it's just
And 78.
it's hard.
That's gonna end his day. That's if he does not have a fast repair. Trevor Valansny. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. We talked about it early in the race.
Yeah.
He may be done for the day.
Yeah, and he was actually I guess I give you guys the story since we're on the caution. He actually sent me a message and said, "Hey, do you have any cars? Do you have any cars available that I can race? I would love to do the race, and I love super speedways and etc." And I was like, I don't know if I really have any cars available. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, wait, yeah, I do. So, made an agreement with the original driver of the 78 of Julio, who is out right now of the car for personal reasons. So, verified it with him, and he said it was all good to put a substitute driver in there, and that's what we did. So, sucks that he got caught up in that. Hopefully he did not use a fast repair and can go ahead and get it fixed, and hopefully get back out there.
Yeah, we shall see if that does happen. But right now, that kind of mixes up things. Drew is still up front there, trying to get a feel for it. We're kind of getting into some cautions late in this race. You see that at Talladega, but we're starting to see some checkup stuff, and it's not how it started on this race. But 22 to go. They're all fighting for position. They're trying to get points in playoffs. We've been talking about it this whole race. Chris Rabel in 66, Nick Silver in that 9 and that 3 spot. Man, these are all drivers up front here that can win at any time. As you're looking right now, they're trying to choose the inside-outside. Brandon, I'm looking at all these drivers up front, this top 10. If they go green, 10 laps in, they go green the whole way through, it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I mean, man, these guys, they know what time it is, like I said before. But the problem is there is guys who are ready to go, and there's guys who aren't ready to go. So these drivers have got to realize who those drivers are, and either got to change positions, or they've got to, find a way to deal with the situation that they're in, but, continue to push somebody and then checking up. And, I mean, that just creates an accordion effect, so you really can't do that. As we just saw, the 54 basically got ran over, and there's nothing he can really do, and he's just doing what he can to try and save it, and hopefully have a good finish, which unfortunately now could be spoiled. But I mean, we'll have to see what happens. There's still 22 to go, still plenty of time for these guys to kind of get back up there, as long as they don't have too much damage, as long as they have cars around them that can push them back to the front. They still have a chance. But man, it's those laps click off. Pace car lights are off. We're going to restart with only 20 to go. Those 20 laps are going to fly by.
They will fly by, as I just want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsors, Units Moving Portable Storage, Wheels America, Admin Box, Flim Dogs, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, and Harpoon Designs. Everybody at home watching on Wheels American Racing Network, we do see you. Sounds like someone's going to the NASCAR race at Coda on Sunday, so that would be fun to watch. I do watch you guys chat, and I see all your favorite drivers, so don't think we don't see it here on the broadcast. We love the engagement, and we have 21 to go. I think it's going to be 20 when we go to green here at Talladega. It's been fun so far late in this race, a little bit of cautions, but once this goes back to green, we're going to see a show. And these, like I said, these top 10 racers, these top 10 drivers, man, a lot of good names. Number 34, Feder place in that 9th position, and the guy I picked, Vanderplatz, in that 4th. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to get a little nervous for these boys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, we're coming to 20 to go. We've had back-to-back cautions for the most part. This can either go two ways. Either it continues to be back-to-back cautions, or we're gonna go green, and there's going to be an enormous wreck, and we're gonna see cars flipping and tumbling, and cars on fire, and Ricky Bobby running out of the car screaming, "Help me!"
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
help me,
Brandon.
cars.
Well, Brandon, the pace car's off. We haven't seen the big one just yet, where cars are upside down. We talked about it early on, but we still got a lot of time. 21 laps here at Talladega. They're trying to figure this out. We've had quite a few cautions here at the end. They're trying to get back comfortable as Drew in that 48 is going to take us off to a green flag here at the final stages. We're going to end at 80 laps, and number 77, Mike. 66, Chris Rabel right there as well. Chris is going to push Drew now in the 48. They're on the outside lane. Single file, a little bit of side-by-side in the back. Nick Silver there. Watch out for him in the 9.
Yeah, and there was something I actually saw in that restart. The majority of Bowie Esports restarted on the highline. So, obviously they had a plan to stick together no matter what, and looks like that is what they're doing. And,
and they got a turn.
No! Here we go again.
Hey, he stays. It keeps green. 20 laps to go. Back
There
on
we
the
go.
track.
Heck of a save.
Oh
In the
my!
world? What?
Hello, Brandon. I just. Dang.
I don't know. I don't.
I'm a little speechless on that one.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, there is a possibility that if he would have let off, maybe he would have got right.
So
Yeah.
so Michael Lamphere was in position here. He's making a run. He sees him down below. He's below the yellow line. Okay, he's almost in the second lane there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're right.
if you're coming off the track, if you get loose, you got to just let the pack go through. They are going 50 plus faster than you, and that's exactly what he just got involved with. I don't think there's any business of that car that should be in front of him going that slow. That's my opinion. Looking at it on from the booth.
Yeah, I'm gonna put two faults. I'm gonna put the fault on Lamphere because sometimes you gotta take the L. Sometimes it's just a situational thing. Now he could have went below the line, but yellow. But I mean, obviously he knows if he goes down there, he's gonna get a black flag. He can't make a pass. But he could have checked up, let him go, and said, "Hey, race control, I had to check up or whatever. Like, cause if I went up high, I was gonna go ahead and wreck people." That's one of those things where you got to be aware of what's going, who's around you. There were still cars passing, and there were still cars on the right side of you. So it's you can't really do something like that. That's why I said he had to take the L. and just check up and push them. Hopefully, push them back to the front and have a chance. Now you've kind of given yourself damage, so you're kind of putting yourself in a situation where now you don't have that chance. And then you look at and unfortunately I can't remember the exact number, but the car who the 21 I believe is who was spinning on the apron, saved it, trying to figure out where he was, I'm assuming, and by the time he realized it was like, oh, let me move down low, but again, you can't do that. It's kind of the same thing when you spin or you wreck or something like that. They always tell you, hold your line. Stay still, stay predictable. If you're not predictable, nobody has a clue where you're going, and that's basically what happened with him. So, like I said, there's two faults in my opinion. That would be two faults. But again, it can also be considered a racing deal. So, sucks for everybody involved, but
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and Brandon, as they are going to choose on top or bottom lane, we are going to go to a quick commercial break before this race ends at the 80 lap mark, 18 to go as of now. We are back. We just had a caution underway, and we are still under that caution. 17 to go as Drew in that 48 car is in front. Couple changes here. Frankie now looking like he's in second position. Chris Rabel right behind him. So we talked about this early on. Brandon, Frankie was starting 32nd. Now look at him now. He's in second place.
Hey man, it's like I said, he had a strategy, and obviously that strategy is working. Don't know if it would have worked better than my strategy, but that's okay. Me and Frankie just poking fun at each other. But he still had a chance to, like I said, he put himself in a position to get a win. That's all you can ask for at a super speedway, is to be there. That's the main goal, is to be there at the end, whether it's with 20 laps to go, 15, 10, 1 lap to go. As long as you are still on the track, you still got a chance.
Yeah, and I think my kind of driving factor would be towards Frankie. We have different driving skills, but it's working out for him as the pace car's off. We're going to be 16 laps to go to the end of this race here at Talladega, and Drew, Frankie, Chris in the 66, and Lights in that number 4. They're all going to be battling here up front. Green flag is underway, and let's see who gets a jump here. Looks like it's going to be Drew at 48 out the outside. Not a good jump for Frankie. He falls back a little bit early on. As we see 66, they've been working side by side so well up front together. The 48 and the 66 car drafting very well.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Now this is one of the things where I would say you've got to watch what's going on the track. You got the 48, the 66, the 9, the 16, the 34. Okay, they're all teammates, and they all are restarting on the high line. So that would tell me that they have a strategy. If I'm a competitor or another opponent, I'm going to try and break up that path. So I'm going to also restart on the high line. You've got to kind of look at the little things that they're trying to go 3 wide back there. You got to look at the little things and find a way. How can I beat this team? Especially if you're another team like Frankie's team and stuff like that. Like you got to look at these little things. And if you're a solo driver, then you have to find some way to make friends with that bigger team and try to act them to tow you around so you can get to the end of the race and possibly try to snooker them and take the win from them. So, but hey, we're back to 3 wide racing. This looks like how we were at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, early on we saw this 3 wide as they're trying to connect out front there and on the outside, but just can't do it. There's only 3 cars on the 3rd row there. They're not going to move. Maybe 4 cars now. They're not going to move as well as that inside lane as they're looking like a train, and they are real close. Now single file. I don't think anybody's going to touch them. They better figure out the pack. And they're getting sideways again in a big wreck. And those are some guys that were right on the bubble and some playoff situational drivers. Man.
That was a hit for Shelton. Who was that?
Big hits down below too.
Who
Michael
hit the
Lamphere,
inside wall?
I believe, involved again. Isaac involved as well, it looks like.
Who is that car right there? Can we figure out who that is? That the 65? Or is that the... Is that... Oh, no. What happened? Yeah,
Biddy was on that bubble too. He had to make up a lot of ground to get into the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to work now. He needed to get into that top 10, top 5, even a win, Brandon.
Yeah, that right there for Biddy's a hit. And that is going to take the sails out of that win. Yeah, looks like Trevor subbing in the 78. Kind of just out of shape and
now go back a little bit if you could. It almost looks, Brandon. It almost looks like he comes up. I could be wrong here. If we take a look at it, okay. So contact on the right side here. Then he drops down.
Yeah. So
78 gets close.
But yeah, he does. He does move up. He's moving up slightly.
Yeah.
Not much, but I unfortunately I still would have to put that on the 78. I mean he's bouncing off the 04 and then he's coming down the track, and I mean like I said, the 2 moves up barely, but I mean technically he is still moving, but I mean man. And see I don't have to see what happened, or if we get a chance have to maybe look at a little bit further back and see how it actually initially started between the 04 and the 78.
Yeah, Brandon, either way, Drew and Chris Rabel up front, they've been working so well together. The way that they've had their restarts in the single file, I don't think they mind these cautions. I mean, they don't want to see it happen, but if it continues to go like this, Drew and Chris, they've had such good restarts. They're going to be hard to track down because that outside lane really hasn't made any traction to even get close to try to get by them. As we're looking on here, Big Biddy.
Long till he's seeing what's going on in front of him. He sees it. He's like, oh no, they're moving. He's like, oh, let me. Oh! Yeah, that's a hard hit. And then hits it again. It's broken.
Granted, if we're gonna get some updates here shortly, I believe, but playoff implications, man, it's gonna be huge. This is the final race of the season until we jump into those playoffs. And that wreck right there with 13 laps to go, I believe it was, maybe 14. That's going to change everything for a lot of these drivers trying to make it happen. It's unfortunate, but this is the type of race, and this is what happens late in the season.
Yeah, but you want to know what though? I definitely still have to give a shout out to Biddy. Biddy did what he needed to do in stage 1 and went out there and got finished P3 in stage 1. So stage 2 really wasn't able to really get back there, but he was able to do what he needed to do. And he showed that he could. So I definitely want to give props to him. It kind of sucks that he wasn't able to see what he could do, or for us to even see what he could possibly do. See if he can make it happen. I mean, we've seen stuff like that happen in the real NASCAR. I think Christopher Bell did it at Martinsville, where he had the win and he goes and makes the win and makes the Final Four. I think he did that on clutch 2 races in a row, I think. But yeah, so it would have been fun to be able to see if he could do that. But unfortunately, circumstances didn't allow it to happen. So of course, as we're watching these guys start to break their choices, and I would like to see, once they're done, maybe we can go back to the front and see what the choices were for the front. Let's see if the Bowie Esports got broken up by maybe the Flim Dog drivers. And well, no, they didn't. Okay, so you still have basically Bowie Esports is still top 6, top 5. So, but it's a little bit different because you have the 16 and you have the 34 on the bottom. So that kind of puts Frankie a little bit closer to the front, and Lick Lights is close to him as well, and they're teammates. So, man, them two get together, maybe do a little bit of slice and dicing. You never know.
You don't. And we got Drew there, and also Chris on the outside now going to work together. I believe they started on the inside. Maybe I'm wrong. I do think they started on the outside last restart. But it seems like those two guys are just getting great jumps, and no one can catch them. Everyone's kind of following their lead in single file. We're not seeing that side by side in the turn 1, 2, and 3. They are just taking off, and I just don't know if anyone can catch them at this time. We only have, when we go green, maybe 10 laps to go.
Yep, and here's the situation. If there is a caution, that's 4 laps burnt. So we're gonna restart with 10 laps to go. If a caution comes out with still 10 to go, we're gonna then probably restart with either 5 or 6 laps to go. That happens right. So we're being told we have a maximum of 3 more cautions. They can 2 within the lap frame and then 1 overtime. So these guys could not. The guys that want to try and win this race, that are in the back or in midfield, or the guys that needs the points, they can't afford to mess around now.
They cannot, as the caution car is off. Pace car is gone. Drew in the 48 is going to take us away here late in this race. We only have 10 to go as they cross Edward Marshall, Chris Rabel, Brandon Fetterplace, Nick Silver, and Frankie Moroso there in that number 12 car. This is going to be exciting as we see it unfold now. Nothing's changed there as Drew and Chris right behind, drafting together. Nick Silver in that number 9, as you see in the number 4 lights as well. Outside as they work together. Inside lanes forming a little bit. Now they're going to drop down below, taking the inside lane. Interesting move there as they're working as a team. A little bit of checkup in the back. They're trying to figure it out. Outside lane is not there no more. 39 in the 4.
Yep, looks like it's. Oh my goodness, what a save by the by the 30. I believe it's the 32. I couldn't. Joseph 39. I'm sorry. Joseph Millie does a heck of a save in the middle in 3 and 4. That could have been the big one. But he saved it. He's going to continue on.
He's going to continue on. It's not over yet. Big check up on the inside as we're looking on the outside. 39 loose, get into the wall.
Oh,
Oh, and we
oh,
got
there you go.
huge wreck, and
There you
this
go.
is going to be it. Brandon, you spoke too soon. There is smoke. I can't even see the numbers. 9 laps in and 9 laps to go. Unfortunately, another caution. Isaac, Michael.
And I see Brandon Shelton involved in that again. Man, he cannot afford to lose any points here. Yeah, it looks like the 66, so it looks like 39 is broken toe, the 6 broken toe, 88 is blown up,
Wow.
smoking all over the place. That was the big one. That was the big one.
And these cars were hitting the wall. Any of those cars that were down below and hit that wall on the top and came up that hard, they're done. Their day is over if they do not have a fast repair. There was multiple cars that had
And-
some of the hardest hits of the night.
And it looks like Matt Fleming's the one who actually has claimed for being caution.
Now take a look at this. 1, 2, 3. Man.
Let's see.
Check up some contact. 1, 2 there, and he went down, and then that's what's going to cause it right there.
Wow, what a hit for the 88
Yeah.
though. Jeez. And they still just piling in there. You got the marker breakers in there. Ah, man. I feel for some of these guys. You know, if, like I said, I don't know what the points are. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to look at the points again until after the race. But again, Shelton was 27 to the good. Larson, unfortunately I don't know if Larson was involved in that. I didn't see. Yes, he was. It looks like it was. Yeah.
Well,
So unfortunately, Larson was involved in that. He was also on the bubble. Lanphier, I think he was in it. So a lot of our drivers that were on the cut were involved in that.
just when I thought the cautions may have been done and the implications of playoffs may be finished, we have that happen and unfold. And, well, now more issues, more problems, and a lot of drivers not happy because their points may be devastated and they're not going to make it to the end to get into those playoffs. Unfortunate, man.
Yeah, but you want to know what? There are some drivers who might squeak their way in. Of John Wright, which
We
has
haven't talked about him all night, Brandon. Oh, for John Wright?
Yeah, and he is 14 points out. And he's sitting P11.
Yeah, he started 7th. So that's looking pretty good. John is staying alive. Like we talked about it, you got to stay alive, and he's one of the drivers doing it.
Yep, Marshall is still on the track. Lanphier has damage. Let me see if we can see if he's back on track or
Yeah,
if
I think he's dropped all the way to 22nd at least. Michael Lanphier, the 13.
He's still on track, so he still has. Yeah, so he still has a possibility of making up some points. But Meeks, let's see, Thomas Meeks is on the track as well. I know he has damage though, so it depends on how much damage he has or whether he has the speed. It will depend on if he has. Oh, man, this is gonna be tight at the end.
Yeah. And
Who
Brandon,
makes
if
it?
Michael,
Who doesn't?
Yeah, if Michael Lanphier, the 13, he started 3rd, right? He's got a fresh car, so he must have had a fast repair.
Yep.
He's in 22nd, real close to that. If he could make it through the pack and get that top 10, top 5 finish, that would be something to talk about because he seems like he's been involved in every single incident. We're looking on the cam, we're watching his face cam, and he seems like he's always right there in the mix of these issues on these cautions. So that would be a testament to watch him go through the field.
Yeah, I am. Okay. We got drivers running into each other on doing caution. Don't know what that's about, but okay. But yeah, I am. Look, I said I was nervous for these guys. I feel like I need to take a Tums. That's how nervous I am for them now. It's if I if like I said if you know I am right, if I'm Meeks, there was a 14-point difference coming into the race. After stage 2, I believe it stayed the same. I know Marshall is running up front. He's trying to stay away from all the carnage, and he's doing a pretty good job of doing that. Lanfear has a brand new car. Larson, lots of damage. Shelton, lots of damage. Man, I'm excited though. I am nervous but excited for these guys.
I'm excited too, but I'll tell you what, Drew and Nick and Chris, they've been off to the races every restart. These guys like Mike, Ryan Dunkelberger, Matt Smith, John Wright, even Kenny Real now's up there in the 12th spot. They need a couple laps to get going so that they can make a move. They need to get the lineup on the outside or even the inside. They need to pick and choose and figure out what's going to work best for them because we know if it's only 2 laps to go that those front 4 guys, that might be 1, 2, 3, and 4. But pace car is off, and Drew Drua, Nick Lights, and number 4, they're going to take us to the green as we only have 5 laps to go at Talladega. Man, it's going to be exciting. If they can keep it green right now, who knows what could happen. As Drew, Nick, Chris, the outside, working their way on the inside. Drew and Chris, nothing's changed. 48 and 66 working together, but now we have Nick and the number 4 on the inside. Looks like they're going to make a run. This is the first time we've seen it. 5 laps to go at Talladega, and look at that. On the inside, we may have some new leaders.
Yeah, looks like they came to play now.
16, Edward Marshall pushing Nick.
Oh, the wreck
We got a
again.
couple of cars on the outside. Caution in the back again. This is going to change a lot of stuff as we got new leaders, cars getting sideways, and smokes flying. Brandon, let's take a look in the back and see what happened in the field. 21, I believe that is. Gets a little bit loose. 78 gets spun again. Does he come up? Mark Whitley involved in this one, maybe.
Yeah, that was a hole that wasn't there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brandon,
big wreck
there's
up
a
front.
situation. Yeah, the big wreck there, multiple cars. It's just a situation where you got nowhere to go. You do have to let off. You can just let off the pedal. The gas pedal has this situation where you just pull back.
Yeah. There's 5 laps to go. These guys aren't lifting. Unfortunately, that's the mentality when you get down to 5 to go. You're not lifting. Why that mentality is like that, I have no idea, especially at the super speedway. There's no way you're going to be able to get there by yourself. You are going to need help, and you're doing nothing but making enemies. Oh my goodness, who was that? Who?
Yeah, just a situation where you gotta see what's ahead of you and maybe just lift a little bit and let the race continue, because now what you've caused is multiple cars. As we're looking on as the 18, he sees it. He's going on the inside, going through the grass, then gets clipped.
Oh, took Larson again. Oh my goodness. Larson is probably screaming right now. Like, can you guys stop, please?
That's Charlie in the 18. He's running his hockey team paint scheme tonight. That is not helping him and not working out for him. He was 1 lap down. Unfortunate for Charlie, But yeah. Well, Brandon, Talladega, another
Yeah.
caution, and now what's going to happen here is we may have just a green-white checker. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are going to have a green-white checker, and here's the issue now. There's been so many restarts that people have figured out how the restarts are being started and when their restarts are going. So you've kind of, if you are the leader, you've kind of, well, if you were Drew, you've kind of ran out of restart options because you're trying to change it up. You're trying to shake things up so that way your competitors don't pick up on what you're doing. Unfortunately, it looks like either there was an issue with Drew being pushed or Nick Lights and I believe it was the 12 Frankie figured something out, and they were able to just about get by them. So, get by the guys on the high side. So he got one more chance to make something happen. Now, could they go green? Possibly, but we are on our 11th caution. Last week we had 15 cautions. I know we can't hit that number, but we just want to stay green so we can have a great finish. That's all we want right now. Pretty sure the fans feel the same way at this point. Let's clean it up and let's just try to finish this thing out on a high note.
Yeah, and we may finish it out on a high note. And I will say that Drew and Chris in that 66 now, as you see Nick Lights in front, they might not be able to work together as well as they wanted to now. And you got guys up front that are gonna get different jumps. I would imagine with these many laps to go, not very many, is you might see some teammates jumping out 3 wide that can make it even interesting late in this race as we go green-white. Don't count that out. You may see that. We may go 3 wide as we saw early on in this race late here, and that may bring some different aspect to this into this race today here at Talladega.
I find something very interesting. I see that the 12 Frankie chose the high line instead of staying committed to the bottom of his teammates. Interesting play, but I'm pretty sure Frankie has a pretty good strategy on what he's attempting or is going to try and do. Or maybe he has some guys behind him that said, hey, we'll stick with you, just make it 3 wide and we can go to the front and we can try to win this thing. So it just has to stay green for 1 full lap and we might see a new winner in victory lane. Could be the 90, it could be the 65, could be the 16, could be the 04. So there's a lot of guys that are up front that have not won this season. So
Well, I'm gonna go back to, I think it's AJ's picked Frankie. He's sitting there right at that 8th position. Not a bad spot to be. If he's got help and he can make a run either on the outside, in the middle, we might see something special out of Frankie because he knows how to drive. He knows how to perform on this track. So that might be one of the drivers. John Wright, Mike, Ryan Dunkelberger there too. They might not have enough time to make it through the pack, but man, watch out for Frankie late in this race as we're about to go green again. Number 4, Nick Lights, Edward Marshall, Jamie Graham in the number 90. Now he's up front. He started 30th and now in 3rd position. As we got 3 laps to go here at Talladega, we got a green flag underway as number 4, Nick's going to take it away on the inside. 16 of Edward Marshall on the outside, does not have a push. It looks like he's going to nick it sideways. He's outside, not going to be able to get back on the pack. He gets pushed out of it. Oh my. 48 of Drew is now in 2nd. As we got the number 16, Edward Marshall in the front. Nobody's behind him. 3 cars. 66 there as well as Chris Rabel, I believe it is.
yeah, I think only thing I can think of is that the 90 was maybe pushing the Nick Lights, and maybe Nick was. Oh, and they're in the wall. 8 car, the state green. But the only thing I could think of is maybe he either missed a shift or was a little slow with shifting, and the 90 was already on him, so kind of pushed him out of the way in a sense. Not intentionally, but man, that's if I'm Nick Lights, I am livid right now.
Either way, Edward Marshall in the 16 is now up front. The white flag is out. Drew in the 48 is in second. Chris Rabel in the 66 trying to make contact, and he gets pushed into the wall. And that is going to spin him. Lots of contact, no caution, and we're going to stay green now as we got the white flag. Edward Marshall and Drew and Chris up front.
Wow.
In that 48, Drew, Edward Marshall pushing each other to the 1-2 spot. Can Drew make a move to get to the front?
I don't know. These boys are.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is going to be close at the end because they're still coming fat and they're going to have to make a move quick.
Is someone going to go on the outside to get that pass? No, they're not. Edward Marshall in that 16 is going to get a win here at Talladega. Drew in the 48 gets second. Jamie Graham in the 90 is third. Frankie fourth. Unbelievable.
And the 48 blows up, crossing the line. But you want to know what though? Teammates stuck together, and he said, "I'm just gonna push you to the end, and then it's do whatever we gotta do." And yeah, but
Let's take a look back here, Brandon, as the 66 gets turned.
I'm gonna say that's a side draft going wrong. That's you gotta do a better job. You gotta do, if you're gonna side draft, then learn to do it properly. But
yeah, and I'll tell you what, Brandon, if anyone's gonna be upset tonight, it's gonna be that driver right there, because he was out front all day, looked really good, thought he was gonna get the win, and Chris Rabel unfortunately gets mixed up in a wreck, and it's too bad. As we're looking here as a 16 and the 48, 1-2 across the finish line.
man, oh, it goes below the yellow.
Not sure if that will be called, Brandon.
Yeah, I didn't see that the first time. But but it depends if he made it. I don't know. He didn't advance, so it just depends on how the rule is going to be looked at. I don't think that's a penalty, but I know. We're gonna listen to the 48 blow up here. Pushed him to the line, and yeah, that was a quiet blow up. I thought it was gonna be a lot louder than that. But definitely congratulations to Edward Marshall, the driver number 16. He has been doing everything possible to get a win this season. Man, and it comes with his teammate Drew pushing him to the win. So
yeah, and Nick Light shifter broke at some point in time.
Well, I said something had to happen because the way how he got hit, it almost looks like either he missed a gear or there was something wrong, because at that point everybody was shifting into the higher gear at that point. So man, that's gotta suck, honestly.
Yeah, congratulations again. You said number 16, Edward Marshall, the win here at Talladega. Drew in that 48 as well. Jamie Graham, he started 30th and then finished third. Man, Frankie, he was consistent all day too. He was kind of patient, weighed his way in the back, and he was 32nd, started great. He's fourth. So unconfirmed as well. It sounds like Meeks might have got pushed out and Wright maybe in. Is that what I'm seeing on maybe a playoff situation here?
That's what I'm hearing, and if that's the case, then wow.
Yeah, if that's the case, that's going to be quite some changes here late in this season. But we're going to bring in Edward Marshall, number 16. Edward, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations on that win. Wow, what a race today. Caution Fest at the end, but you managed to start grid second and finish first. So consistent all the way around. What are your thoughts on today on this race here at Talladega?
My only thoughts right now was blowing up my engine. And thank you to Bowie Esports for giving me the opportunity to represent them in this league. Thank you to Drew for the push, heck of a push there the last 2 laps. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on your win. I'm gonna let Brandon talk to you for a little bit. Brandon, you got something for EJ?
Yeah, man. Congratulations. Finally was able to get your first win under the Bowie Esports banner and finally get your first win of in the league. I know you have been pushing really hard to try and get that win. Man, walk us through the last I guess that green white checker. Talk us through that and what you had to do and what you might have been even worried about if you even saw the 66 get wrecked in the back.
Yeah, we come to the choose truck or the choose car right there, and I didn't know if I was wanting to be behind lights and try to make a move on him, going for the white flag lap. And then the more that the team was talking about it, the more that we thought that we wouldn't even get to the white flag lap. So me being P2 right there, it's kind of, you know, make your fate, dig your coffin right there, I guess. So jumped to the outside, was able to squeeze him down. I think the car behind him, I don't even know who it was, but he hit him super hard, and I think messed up his race right there, coming to the green. And Drew just stayed on me, and we got to the bottom, and it was game over then.
Yeah,
Well,
I watched that, man. I was just like, well, if Drew pulls out, somebody else is gonna possibly win. So I think he looked at the bigger picture and knew that his only option was to push you. Which, congratulations to both of you guys, man. I mean, you guys, Drew was dominant up front. All you guys really stayed up front, worked together. So that was cool to see. And even Frankie's team, Flim Dog, they worked together and raced you guys cleanly and hard. So it was fun watching both of you guys, both teams battle it out, trying to get a win before we head on to the playoffs.
Yeah, and the team was all on the same page. It didn't matter really who won, but we was on a Bowie Esports car up there, so uh, we made it happen, man.
EJ, congratulations tonight, man. What a testament here at Talladega, going into playoffs and stuff. But again, Brandon's proud of you. Good job out here, and have a good evening of celebration.
Thank you.
All
Y'all
right,
have a good
thank you.
night.
You too.
You too.
All right, I think we're gonna bring in Drew in the 48. He finished P2. Drew, do you got a copy here?
Yes,
He
sir.
may be mute. All right, he's here. Drew, you look so good all day long, all race long. It looks like you have a lot of confidence on these tracks, these super speedways. You were in second. We thought you were going to make that move, but on that last restart with the cautions, you had drivers, you had cars in front of you. What were your thoughts on that last restart with only a few to go, as you sat, I believe it was maybe in that third, fourth position?
Yeah. I lined up right behind my teammate in the 16. We were planning on going wherever the four didn't go. I basically told EJ there to get as close as you can to them so we could side draft them on the restart, make sure they can't jump out. And honestly, we were in the right position even without the fours shifter going out. I saw in the chat. We were going to side draft them super hard and get us clear. And then I told him before the restart, the final restart, that I was going to push them until I blew up. And there obviously were like there was a thought in my head, should I pull out here? And but I feel like it was better just to get a team win instead of try and be a little bit selfish and try and go for a couple extra playoff points. So, like you said, we were dominant all race. Our whole team, we kind of dominated the final stage. At least is kind of getting into the the top like 10, top 5 positions. And after we did that, nobody could really touch us on these restarts. I know we got a lot of the restarts, and it was kind of hard to even build up a run to pass us. So we held our position up front.
Yeah, yeah, you look good again all race, and you push Edward Marshall to that victory. You're patient, and I think you did what was right. But Brandon's here as well in the booth. I know he wants to say something to you real quick. So Brandon, you got something for Drew?
Yeah. Congratulations on your P2 finish there, sir. You owe me about $50,000 for blowing up my engine there at the end.
More than
Can't really
that.
be blowing up these engines, man. Like these things aren't cheap. But again, man, solid work all race long, man. You stayed up front. You were aggressive. I mean, you really showed the field that who the Pied Piper was. You look like Dale Jr. out there doing a lot of those pushing and leading. So shout out to you for getting it done. I know you probably wanted to win. You probably wanted the first win of the season, the last win of the regular season. I'm probably is what you were thinking. But great teamwork, great job, man, and can't wait to see what you can do in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to work with the teammates there. I was kind of laughing after I blew up the motor. I was like, well, I'm hitting 306, and I mean, I had practiced how hard I could push and like the temps, and I knew once I get to 300, it's kind of hard to get it back. So I kind of had to let off a little bit there to make sure that we were good. I was a little worried though. I didn't know how much momentum the people behind us had, but it was a lot of fun. We'll definitely go into the playoffs, and we'll try and replicate what we have here, and we'll see how it goes in the All Star race first.
Absolutely. Well, Drew, congratulations on that P2 finish, and we will see you next week in the playoffs.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Let's get Jamie Graham in here, number 90. He finished P3. He started grid 30th, finished third. Jamie, you got a copy?
I got you. You got me?
I got you, man. Hey, I just want to give you a shout out and say, hey, you started grid 30th and finished third. I know that's super speedway. It's not the hardest thing to do, but it happens. What'd you feel like in the car, and what'd you think of the race today? You did real well finishing that P3 spot.
Well, I would contest the theory that it is not that hard because if you were in that car during that race, you'd have seen where I was upside down, backwards, sideways, and nearly on fire about 3 different times.
There you go.
So I think we ended up back in 30th maybe 3 or 4 times. Flagship was playing the team game, trying to keep everybody together. Ultimately, it came down to me, Frankie, and Nick there at the front at the end. Tried to stick together, got broken up, and I mean, yeah, it could it have played out better? Yeah, but will I take third after didn't start the season with the team, started out subbing, and then got a full time gig, and second race in full time, we've got a top 10 and a top 3, so can't complain.
Yeah,
Would it have been nice to make the playoffs? Sure, but you know what, we're gonna charge hard for the contender series and see if we can finish 17th overall.
there you go. Well, congratulations on that 3 spot again, Brandon. Real quick, you got something for Mr. Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie, I just need your address so I can send you the invoice for the car of the 66 that I need you to pay for. That's about That's about $100,000 I need to replace that car. No, I'm joking. Congratulations on your P3, man. Hard racing from everybody out there. And starting that far back and still being able to work your way up to finish third is impressive. So understand it's only your second race, but hey, man, you're showing that you got the speed on the super speedways. And man, I mean, going into these next couple of races, it'll be interesting to see what you can do. You think you got anything for well, I was gonna say the next race, but I think I can't think of what the next race is. But whatever's coming up next, what's your mindset going into the playoffs?
Yeah, so I mean, up next, looking at schedule, we got the All Star race, which I think the rumblings were that's Las Vegas. That's a track I enjoy. Then we got the break, and then the playoffs start. First race is home track at Darlington. I like to think I'm pretty good there. Heavy tire wear track takes a lot of finesse, a lot of patience. So if things go right, I think we got a top 10 race there. Bristol, Watkins Glen, 2 tracks I think I'm decent at, but anything can happen. But I mean, overall, just the schedule of the playoffs looks like it favors a good run. I mean, like I said, the goal is to finish 17th. We're in a good spot to do that right now. So if we can just keep this momentum, keep this head of steam rumbling, I think we'll at least finish top 3 in the contender series. God willing, nothing terrible going wrong. Like you said, I think I have a little bit of a target on my back with the 66, but fortunately, he's been faster than me every single race so far, so I don't think I have to worry about him right. I would like to mention that was not the intention to take him out of that race, but yeah, I will invoice you the third place purse money for that car. I do feel a little upset that I broke your ride like that, but not so sad that I got third. Would have been nice to have gotten to first. May have also come at the expense of your cars at that point, but you know what? We'll take what we can get. It was a good run. 30 to third was not easy. Playoffs is not going to be easy, but looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And Jamie, well, congratulations on that P3, and playoffs is going to bring a different atmosphere to everything here late in in this season. And congratulations again.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, Brandon, what a night
Yeah.
at Talladega. I mean, we kind of saw everything. We saw some good racing late in the race. We saw some 3 wide early on. So you saw some cautions. Edward Marshall getting the win tonight in the number 16. And then with Jamie in the number 90, starting 30th, finished 3rd. So we saw everything, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, what a race, right? I mean, the beginning of the race was, aggressive, but pretty good. Stage 1 was good. Stage 2 was good. Getting to the end, it's kind of expected. Everybody knows it's time. Time to start moving forwards. Time to start finding positions where you can, and mistakes are happening. So it's expected for these things to happen. I think overall it's still a good race. Saw a lot of passing. Saw some big wrecks as well. And you know what though? These guys will go into the All-Star race next week, and then I believe they're off, and then they go to the first playoff race, which, as Jamie said, it's Darlington. So one of the hardest tracks on the service. Man, these guys are gonna have to be on it, and they're gonna have to don't get that Darlington stripe because that could mess up your car and your day can end prematurely.
Yeah, it's easy to get that stripe there as you're looking at a little short track. But Las Vegas All-Star Race, a little break from all the madness here at Talladega is up next week. After that, we've got the playoff race, like you were just talking about, Darlington, first race of the playoffs. And you'll see all the guys in there competing to win a championship here at this race league. And Unit Storage 200, Wheels America Cup Series, Talladega Super Speedway. Man, we can't ask for better racing tonight. We appreciate you all being here. I just want to give another shout out to all the sponsors: Units Moving Portable Storage, Wheels America, Admin Box, Flim Dogs, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, Harpoon Design. Congratulations to Edward Marshall in that 16, Drew in that 48 taking P2, and Jamie Graham in the number 9. We just spoke to him. He took P3. Good testament. Great job by him. Hey, we'll see you next week for the All-Star race. Come in, tune in, and say hi, because it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of drivers going to be out there just having a ball, and we'll see you then. Thank you, and good night.
Moving or storing your contents does not have to be complicated and inconvenient. Do-it-yourself storage and moving with Units Moving and Portable Storage can save you time, money, and frustration. when compared to traditional full-service moving truck rental and fixed storage. There's no rushing and no hassle. Our process is designed to accommodate a nimble moving process that provides flexible scheduling. Stay away from renting trucks that charge by the hour. With Units, you load your weather-resistant, all-steel containers at your own pace, well in advance of your moving date. Our containers are level to the ground and do not require a ramp to load or unload. Units' barn-style container doors can be easily propped to stay open while loading or unloading your container. With Units, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month is the same price. When you're ready, give your local Units representative a call and we will pick up your container, bring it back to our secure climate-controlled storage centers, or move it to another location of your choice. Need temporary storage before you move? We can take care of that at one of our many storage centers, saving you trips back and forth to a self-storage facility. Each Unit service center is locally owned and operated by franchisees that know your area. There are no time constraints on the container. Feel free to pack and load at your own convenience or hire a professional for additional help. Control your own schedule. Receive personalized support. Units will simplify your moving experience.
From Mortar to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.